Hey, what is going on, everybody? Today we have a very special video because I want to talk about something very important coming soon. And that's the next legendary character after Adam Warlock. Now, you can see behind me something that I've done recently to my roster, and anyone who follows my channel to any good degree would know I wouldn't normally do something like this, and that's unlocking Shang-Chi with power cores. Now, not only do I hate Alliance War, I really hate War defense teams. So what would have possessed me to do such a thing, you might ask? Well, I'm a bit afraid that this might have something to do with said legendary that I want to talk about, though admittedly I am a bit on the fence about this, which is why I took this precaution to at least pick 50 shards up for his unlock early, so it would bring me a little bit closer if this happened. That being said, I do have some other ideas that I want to talk about those in this video by comparing some of the past trends that we've had for legendary character unlocks. But before we dive into that, I do want you guys to please watch this clip from today's sponsor, Gemstone Legends, who made this video possible. So I want to thank Gemstone Legends for sponsoring today's video. What is Gemstone Legends? Well, it is an awesome team-based RPG puzzle game with a very unique matching system that allows you to match gems in lines, as well as diagonally over the course of 3 turns to make some pretty interesting shapes. And the game has loads of different heroes from tons of different factions to choose from, all with different unique special abilities to help you conquer your enemies. This game is also completely free and available for both iOS and Android devices, so make sure to give this a shot. Also, if you enjoy live PvP, there is lots of that in Gemstone Legends, so worry not, fellow duelists out there, for there is something for everyone in this game. As you progress in the game, you'll also pick up tons of items and artifacts which help you customize and improve your character to further increase their power. I also really love the art style as well, which was hand-drawn from scratch, animating all of their moves and skills. Gemstone Legends also boasts an incredible story taking you on a journey through many different realms, all while fighting tons of different enemies and raid bosses along the way. This game is very free-to-play friendly as well, giving you plenty of opportunities to rise to the top. So if this sounds good, then this is the mobile game for you. And if you're like me and you love hero collector games where you can power up your roster, then you need to get Gemstone Legends. You can also find me under my nickname Boilon, so feel free to add me and say hi. So what are you waiting for? Download and check out Gemstone Legends by clicking on the link in the description below or scanning the QR code on the front of the screen, and after completing the in-game tutorial, you'll get a super new player bonus worth about $50 to help you on your quest. Also, a great big thank you to Gemstone Legends once again for sponsoring this video, and of course to all of you for watching it today. Alright, and so we're back into the infamous spreadsheet. I'm sure you guys may have seen my character spreadsheet before. I don't think I've referenced this in a video, at least since before this patch. I know we've only been about a week or so into this patch. But first of all, I want to talk about who I think might be the legendary character coming to the game, and when I think they might be coming. So to answer that, some things have kind of surprised me, actually. So I thought that level 85 was going to be next patch, not this patch. So I feel that things were kind of shifted forward. Because of Marvel Future Revolution. I don't know if this is the case or not, but a lot of content creators, nobody really talked about level 85 for this patch. Everyone was thinking that it was going to be coming later, and so I think everything got moved ahead. So because that happened, I think that kind of shifted my estimates for a lot of things as well. So things like patch 5.7, that's going to be next patch. Now, I expect that, and we're going to scroll down a bit, I expect that to be the tech patch, not the bio patch. And the reason for this is because I think that at the same time, we're going to get Dark Dimension 5 and Doom 2. Now, I would have thought that Dark Dimension 5 and Doom 2 would have been for patch 5.8, the one after, and therefore they would have been reversed. But because level 85 got pushed ahead a little bit, I think that that is what is going to happen, which means that we're going to get Dormammu and 2 or 3 other characters. Now, the reason why I say 2 or 3 other characters is because if you look back to the Doctor Doom patch, that almost counted as a gap between a legendary patch, and therefore that's why I think that the next legendary is going to be after this. Now, obviously, I do think that the patch after that, and I'll scroll down some more, is going to be patch 5.8, the bio patch. We're kind of going through Doom Raid traits, basically, since, like, Secret Avengers, essentially. We had the 5.5 skill patch, we had the 5.6 Mystic patch with Shang-Chi, and we have, I think it's going to be Tech next, and then Bio after that. So if you look at the time frame for when these are going to come out, we have about probably end of September for next patch, and then the next one after that becomes kind of late October, early November. Now, at least for this, it does feel a bit thematic because this timeline is kind of very close to Halloween or shortly thereafter. And that's why I think we're probably going to get Null, the King in Black, aka the god of the symbiotes, for around this time frame. And I think that we're not just going to get him. I think we're probably going to get 1 or 2 more symbiotes. Now, who that ends up being, I don't know. Place your bets. Yeah, I don't really know them, and we talked about this in a separate video. But, you know, I think the more popular ones seem to be Riot and Toxin. Riot was in the first Venom movie. Toxin is just another character symbiote I don't really know too much about. I'm sure that some of you guys might know more about the symbiotes than I do. Now, on top of that, I don't know, maybe we might get Shriek from Venom 2. I discussed this as well. She's going to be in that movie. But besides that, I don't really have too much to say. But in terms of the timeline, I think this is what it's going to look like. Now, other legendary options, honestly, I think it's going to be a villain. First of all, I don't think it's going to be MODOK, although we might see MODOK here next patch here for a tech character, because I think that she might actually go well hand in hand with Scientist Supreme. But that's a topic of another video, not this one here. Other choices, though, people were talking about the Eternals movie. I honestly don't think it's going to be an Eternal, because I really barely knew anything about them prior to the announcement of that. I knew they were a thing, but like I didn't really know them by name. So I don't think that they're going to be popular enough in order to make them a legendary character. It could be Black Knight. He was also in that movie, but he's a hero character, and I honestly think that it's going to be a villain legendary coming up next. We've been in dire need of villain characters, and I think legendaries make the most sense. About this time last year, we did have Doc Ock as well, so fingers crossed. I really want Null to come to the game, and I think a lot of people do as well. And symbiotes really need a boost because they're hurting hard in Doom 1.1, and I really don't see them holding up in Doom 2. And I think there's a possibility that characters like Carnage and Venom might get shifted out in favor of, you know, Null or 1 or 2 more symbiotes. So I think this is what's going to happen. Now, we need to talk about the legendary unlock teams and what I think is going to be in relation to that. So to do that, we kind of need to go back and look at things. What were the previous unlocked legendaries? You guys know this, but we need to look at it in terms of the wider data. So I'm going to scroll out a little bit here. So when we had Adam Warlock released, they were required for X Factor. Now, I want to be clear here about what type of teams these characters were. X Factor was a war offense team. Why is this important? Well, let's go back through the data to see why that is. And now, when did they become available? So, Multiple Man and Polaris, they released 2 patches before the Infinity Watch Adam Warlock patch. They were also made farmable pretty quickly. I think they were, if I can scroll this without screwing it up, within 70 days. So you can see on the side here, 71 days actually for both Multiple Man and Polaris. So that gives you an idea of how long a character can be after release that quickly before becoming farmable. Typically it's within 60 to 90 days if we look at some of the other data. Before this, there was a bit of a gap with Shatterstar and Longshot because I think the way that the Christmas patch worked out was really wonky. It was like 2 months long and there was 6 characters, and so I don't know if this was initially intended and because of COVID and such. So we had X Factor and Jubilee. There was reports that this was supposed to be a 5th X Factor character, or Jubilee was actually supposed to be Havoc or a legendary X Factor. That just never happened. But this isn't the topic of this video anyways. You know, leave a comment if you're curious about that though. And so going back further, now we saw the Pimtech patch. If you see here, Pimtech and Dr. Doom. Now the reason why this is important is because the amount of patches in between Doc Ock and Jubilee was 4. Normally it's 3 patches, but I think because of Dr. Doom's release, who was like a pseudo-legendary character, I think that they pushed that back 1 more patch. So we had Doc Ock here. I forget the number of the patch, honestly, because I stopped counting before 5.0. I don't remember what they were called. But if you see here, the Doc Ock patch, and then we had 1 patch, 2 patches, I guess this really long December patch, and then 5.1, and then Jubilee. So that was 4 patches. Or sorry, 3 additional patches in between. But if you look at Jubilee to Adam Warlock, there was only 2 patches in between. So I think that that Dr. Doom release did impact when the next legendary did come out. So for that reason, because we talked about down here with Dormammu, I think that's going to potentially push back the next legendary by 1 patch, because he's the pseudo legendary, he's the Dr. Doom of that sort of time frame. Now, if we go back, again, Pimtech is a Dark Dimension team, so that was used for unlocking Jubilee. Now, if you look at the days farmed, you can see here on the side here, 65, I think that's Yellow Jacket, 69 for Ghost, and 82 for Stature. So again, within that 60 to 90 day farm range. Now, going back further, which is the unlock for Doc Ock, which was X-Force. Again, a war offense team. Now, why is that important? Because we're seeing a lot of these war teams who really aren't that usable outside of the game mode, yet they're used for an important legendary. So there's kind of a bit of a pattern here. I know Pimtech is not exactly part of that pattern, but if we look back even further, now let's check out the X-Force farmability. They're here, 77 days, that's X23, 63 for Negasonic, and 85 for Domino when she was put into the Blitz Orb. So again, part of that 60 to 90 day range. Let's go back even further. Ebony Maw was part of Inhumans. Now, Inhumans was a bit of a mixed bag. They're a mixed team. They weren't necessarily one more than the other. Before Ebony Maw was Black Bull. And what did Black Bull have? Well, as Guardians, who were also a mixed team. However, they did have war defense traits. So, war defense, mixed, war offense, X-Factor, war offense, and then Pimtech, Dark Dimension. So, a bit of a mix, I guess you could say. So, 3 out of the last 5 teams were war-related. Whether it's war offense or war defense, they were war-related. And so this kind of makes me curious and cautious about Heroes for Hire, because previously to Shang-Chi, there was only 2 of them, Colleen Wing and Misty Knight. Now, how long has it been since they've been released? Actually, a fair bit of time. 101 and 112 days. But you could see this to be similar to maybe, say, Shatterstar and Longshot. So the amount of time that they went before they were being made farmable up here was quite a bit. I think. Is this the right? Shatterstar and Longshot. Yeah, 167 and 189 days. So if we expect that it's going to be about 2 months until the next legendary character, then that actually would put Colleen Wing and Misty Knight very close to that mark, to the Shatterstar and Longshot mark. Now, the reason why I think that this could be is because they were both Blitz characters, and so in terms of shard scarcity, Colleen Wing and Misty Knight do have that. And Misty Knight did have a Strike Pass. I'm not sure. Maybe I made note of that yet. Strike Pass Season 4, so she was available there. So some people might have more shards, should have more shards for Misty Knight than they do for Colleen Wing. For Shang-Chi, though, he has been made available with Power Cores currently, or at least as of recording this video, and I did unlock him for 50 shards because I am afraid that this could be the possibility, that this could be the potential unlock team. Now, what's concerning about this, though, is that I don't know for sure. I'll just let you guys know that I don't know 100% that this is the case, but it does have the formula lined up. Now, Shang-Chi would be the more quicker character to become made farmable. Also, I think it's more acceptable to make war characters farmable because they're restricted to that one game mode. So, gearing up and being forced to, and by the way, with the Mythic Legendary, you would have to gear tier 12, level 65, etc., level 3 ISOs and all that to get them unlocked for the next Legendary, because that's how it was for Adam Warlock. So, we're going to see Heroes for Hire everywhere if that's the case. That's the topic of another video because it's going to be trash. That part's going to be trash. But yeah, Shang-Chi's release, I expect it to be pretty soon, probably within a week. The movie's coming out soon, and if you look again at Multiple Mana Polaris, they're within 60 days, 70 days. So I think it's very likely we'll see Shang-Chi made available to farm very close to the release date of the Legendary, maybe like a week before, and perhaps the other ones, Colleen Wing and Misty Knight, we will see them a bit earlier on. So the reason why I said it's part of the formula is that it's 3 newer characters and 2 older characters. If you look at X-Factor, I guess that's not exactly the case here, but we did have some really old characters. So in the form of Longshot and Shatterstar, there was tons of ways to get shards for them. Shatterstar's in the, I believe it's the Gamma Orb, and Longshot had another Blitz available to him after. I believe there was ways to get Longshot. People say that he was one of the harder farms, but if you look back further to the last patch, Stature, Ghost, and Yellow Jackets, again, if you look at some of these characters that were used to unlock them, X-Force and such, it kind of makes a bit of sense. Now, Who was I thinking before Heroes for Hire? And actually, sorry, what I meant to say is that Stature Ghost and Yellow Jacket, they were the new characters, Ant-Man and Wasp, the older characters, and so that's what I mean. That normally the formula was that there was at least 1 or 2 older characters and then some new characters on top of that. But who I thought it was before that, and to be honest, I'm still not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I thought it was going to be Secret Avengers. I personally thought was gonna be Secret Avengers. The reason for this is Cap Sam being a Strike Pass character. He's also a second round of Strike Pass as of now, and that was the same case for Polaris. Polaris was also a Strike Pass unlock, and she had 2 Strike Passes, and so a lot of this is similar to that, and it's making me wonder. But then obviously it doesn't necessarily follow the trend, the sort of old characters and new, or the old farmable characters with some new characters. So people were asking me, well, if it's Secret Avengers, who's going to be with them? And so I said originally that it was going to be Nick Fury, because Nick Fury is farmable because he is available in, he's permanently made available that you can use Kree minions to get him. Now, it's not great, but he is still available to do that. Kestrel was the other character that I thought would be alongside him. Now, we know now that Kestrel is a premium orb exclusive, so that makes it tougher. But she was a campaign event character, meaning that you probably got her at least a 4-star if you tried, and you may have picked up some shards along the way in the orbs. That's possible. So, if it's going to be Secret Avengers, it would be those 3 plus Kestrel and Nick Fury. I don't really see any other characters potentially going in there. There is some relatability. There was also the Envoy video for the Secret Avengers was shown with those 5 characters as well. So I thought that might have been a bit of an Easter egg for that. But if I had to hedge bets, I think I'm like 60-40. On Heroes for Hire versus the Secret Avengers. I think now that we know about Shang-Chi, and now that I thought about it some more in terms of the dates, the release dates for that, I honestly think that it's more likely to be Shang-Chi. Both of them, again, both Calling Wing and Misty Knight were Blitz characters, so the shard scarcity is definitely there. Maria Hill was also a Blitz, though, and Cap Sam is a Strike Pass, so there is shard scarcity here as well. I actually didn't do so well on my Maria Hill Blitz, and Sharon Carter was a campaign event character, but Heroes for Hire didn't have a campaign event character because that was Kestrel. So there's a few things that are kind of bouncing me both ways. So on one hand, 2 Blitzes in the form of Calling Wing and Misty Knight. We have no idea about Shang-Chi. We know a little bit that there's going to be an event. We know that there's an orb that supposedly has Heroes for Hire shards. What might make a difference is the shards available for Shang-Chi. If you get a significant amount of shards for Calling Wing and Misty Knight, that might put me back into the Secret Avenger camp, because I don't think they want to have characters who are legendary unlock teams to be that abundant in shards. So there needs to be some scarcity, or people are not going to spend to buy that offer. So yeah, it's between one or the other for me. Heroes for Hire, because of that typical formula. Luke Cage, Iron Fist, 2 old characters with 3 new characters, 2 Blitzes and an unknown event currently, and then Secret Avengers, 1 with a premium or exclusive, Nick Fury, who is farmable, and then 3 newer characters, Sharon Carter campaign event, Maria Hill Blitz, and Cap Sam Strike Pass. That Strike Pass shard availability, being only 100 shards free to play, 3-star, or even 200 shards, which is just barely into the 4-star if you pay, is not so great either, because you would still need to farm over 100 shards, even if you paid for both Strike Passes. So usually most characters become available within 2 weeks or so of the legendary release, which requires you to kind of laser farm for those characters, and it makes it very tough. So it's not intended for everyone the first pass. Luckily for me, I did get Adam Warlock on the first pass, but I had to grind the hell out of Polaris because she was a Strike Pass character, and I even did buy 1 Strike Pass to get me there. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, who you think it's going to be. Do you think it's going to be Heroes for Hire? Do you think it's going to be my Secret Avengers with Nick Fury, Kestrel? Do you think it's going to be something completely different that I didn't talk about? Feel free to mention that in the comments down below as well, because, it's going to be coming soon. I don't think it's going to be next patch, but if it is, then it's more like, if it's going to come next patch, it's more likely going to be Secret Avengers. Shang-Chi would be too late, I think, as a release character. If it's down here, 5.8, when I think it's going to be, then I think Heroes for Hire is much more likely. That's the end of the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out. Have a great weekend.